Hi. I'm Bobby. I'm a robot cat. Today's topic is a bit heavier than my typical content. Many of you may know a YouTube creator by the name of Charlotte on the web. Full transparency, I quite like Charlotte. I also quite like Unirock. I also am well aware many of my viewers are on opposing sides of the current kerfuffle in the dark alleyways of YouTube. Many have asked my opinion on Charlotte versus Michele Sabate and Ski Mask Andy. Before I begin, let me introduce you to Andy and Michele, as that largely contributed to my feelings on the topic.
Kind of pissed off and aggravated about a whole bunch of shit. Did Michele say that? I guess that means it's not kind of really good news, is it?
Michele spawned from the Molly Golightly community. The two of them were mates for some time. Eventually there would be a falling out that included flashing of body parts, threats, and I'm sure much more. In my opinion, this woman is off the plot. It would also be my opinion that she is struggling with substance abuse issues. This of course does not negate the woman's problematic behaviors, from texting on a piece of toast, to doxing and threatening subscribers. Her behaviors are often wildly unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. To herself, at the very least.
Moderators, why you let him time out. Time the fuck out. Why do people get to say negative shit?
In every community on YouTube exists that one bloke in the basement. In this particular community, that would be Ski Mask Andy. Andy does nothing particularly entertaining. He has no special talent or commentary to add to much of anything. The condensed description of this whinging little prick. He is a grown man who can be found streaming on YouTube almost non-stop, begging for donations, attacking women and feeling dramas. Nevertheless, yes, another person who I believe is a bit of a nutter. Never mind.
And you're mad that you're getting called out? I didn't see it in chat, did I, when I got 100 viewers? Now you're making this shit fucking worse? Alright, relax. Relax, Ski Mask. This is internet people. You'll never see most of them. They don't even know you or care about you.
Claiming that I pimped out my children. That I pimped out my children for people to have sex with them. That's why I went to prison.
Now, at a point some months ago, Charlotte began some commentary removed from her typical Katie Joy topics. She dipped her toe in the Molly Golightly sphere, and ended up down the Michele rabbit hole. Many of you are aware at least of this, but that is the general synopsis. This has progressed into an all-out battle between Charlotte, Michele, and now Ski Mask Andy. What began as typical back and forth has now become a battleground of having a go at children, doxing, and threats. In recent days, Andy and Michele accused Charlotte of horrendous actions towards her own children. She took to her channel to ask the advice of her viewers. In the midst of all of this, many opinions were forming. Unirock, and others, have been quite vocal on the topic. They all seem to agree that Charlotte set herself up for this. That she should have done simple commentary and moved on. And that all of this is no fault of anyone other than Charlotte herself. And then we have creators from various other sub-communities who feel that Charlotte deserves to be defended. That the actions against her are deplorable. The creators with this belief include Renell Smith and Nonsense on the web. So, what are my thoughts? Well, you may all be flabbergasted to know that I believe everyone is right in their opinions on the situation. On the one paw, I do believe that Charlotte's coverage of Michele was excessive. No, it is excessive. And I shall get to that more in a moment. On the other, absolutely no person or robot deserves to have their family members targeted. And as we all should be fully against accusations without fact, the accusations made against Charlotte are deplorable. Only the worst kinds of characters are able to concoct such treacheries in their mind. Much like Roadhog's now redacted accusations against another creator's family member. It is truly no different, irregardless of how anyone feels about Charlotte. Let this be a lesson for us all, that when we choose to commentate on very problematic, or historically dangerous people on the internet, there is always a risk that their reaction will surpass your own moral line in the sand. Just because we do not dox, threaten etc. certainly does not mean the topic of our video will not do those things in retaliation to our opinions on. Do I believe that Charlotte perpetuated much of the issue in this trio of combat? Yes. I believe that she fell into the trap of responding to the drama. And the beef streaming has now taken a dark and treacherous turn. This does not mean that I believe she or her family deserve the actions of the other parties involved. I do not believe anyone deserves to suffer such consequences, all for their sake of YouTube. If I were Charlotte, I would cease discussing that lot, and hope they eventually move on to someone else. And as all of us learn one way or another as YouTube creators, some topics are not worth the folly. Cheers.